Unit 6, question number 5. Alright, so question number 5 wants us to look at these sketches for our graph and identify which one matches the vertex form. Alright, so the general form for vertex form is y equal a, which is that leading coefficient, parentheses x, plus or minus something squared, and then something. Alright, the vertex is the coordinates of these. Alright, to find the vertex, you would have to do the opposite of the inside number and then the same as the outside number. Alright, and that will give you the coordinate for your vertex. Alright, the leading coefficient tells you direction. So again, the leading coefficient tells you where it's going to be facing. Alright, so let's look at our first example right here. Okay, so when we look at our first example, the first thing I'm going to identify is the direction. Is my graph or my parabola, so again the parabola is this curve, is it facing up or is it facing down? What do you think? It is facing upwards. Alright, because it's facing upwards, that means you have a positive leading coefficient. So again guys, because it's facing upwards, it means you have a positive what? Leading coefficient. Alright, so now we know when we look for answers, there needs to be a positive number in front of your parentheses. Okay, but when we look in front of here, all of these has a positive number, a positive 1. So each of these all has a positive 1 in front of them. So that is already good for all of them. Now I need to identify what the vertex is. So the vertex is where all points meet. Alright, so all points would meet right down here. This is what the vertex would be. Okay, so your vertex is a coordinate, guys. So again, your vertex is a coordinate. So the coordinate for this vertex would be positive 2 for the x, alright, and then negative 1 for the y. So again, positive 2, negative 1, alright. So now we're going to identify the equation that this goes with, alright. To identify the equation that it goes with, we have to do the opposite of the x term, so opposite of this term, and then same as this term, alright. So the vertex form should look something like this. So again, the vertex form should look a little bit like this, where it's opposite of this inside of the parentheses. You're going to have parentheses x, opposite of a positive 2 is a negative 2, alright? And then we have our square, because again, we're using that similar general form that's right here, okay? And then we do the same as this, so this stays as a negative 1. So, and again, we have a positive in front of here, okay? So this should be the answer I'm looking for. So when I look at my first answer, does it look like this? No. What about this one down here? No. What about this one? No, they have the similar signs, but we need to have a negative 2 inside of here. What about this one? Yes. So this would be my answer. Alright, so again, just like that. So let's try another one, guys. Alright, so firstly, guys, we're going to try to identify direction. Is your curve facing upwards or is it facing downwards? It is facing downwards. So because it's facing downwards, that means you have a negative leading coefficient. So again, it means you have a negative leading coefficient. Alright, so we're going to check all these to make sure that they have a negative leading coefficient. This has a negative leading, this has a negative leading, this has a negative leading, this one has a negative leading. So all of them has a negative leading coefficient. So now I need to identify the vertex. So the vertex is where all points meet. They meet right up here at the top, okay? So that would be the vertex. So you know the vertex is a coordinate, so let's write that coordinate. So the x value is 6. So again, the x value is 6. And then the y value is 3. Okay? So now we're going to represent the vertex form. Because again, that's only the vertex, but we need vertex form. So to write that vertex form, I'm going to write it on top. We know that we have a negative 2 in front, parentheses x, we're going to do the opposite of of this number. So what's the opposite of a positive 6? A negative 6. And that goes inside of the parentheses because the x goes with the other x. Then I rewrite the square because, again, we need to make it look like the general form. Now we're going to do the same as this number. So the same as a positive 3 is a positive 3. So this should be the vertex form. So let's look for which answer matches this one. And the first one looks exactly like that one. All the other answers, this one has a positive 6 inside, but we need a negative 6 inside. All right, and it has a negative 3 on the outside. So this was completely wrong. All right. This one has a positive 6 inside and a positive 3 outside, but we needed a negative 6 inside. This one had 2 negatives, but we needed a negative inside and a positive outside. So this was my answer. So again, guys, just like that.